Hi everyone, Bobbie LaPorte here again with my weekly tip for your best next move, where I help you have more agency in your work, acknowledge your capacity to act, and see what you can do right now. So last week, my tip addressed one of the 3 mindset shifts that I believe all leaders need to make to successfully navigate uncertainty. And that was around how decision-making has changed. This week, I'd like to cover the second shift, and that is that leaders must deal with unexpected situations that are so much more common from a possibilities, not a loss perspective. In a certain world, we were trained to approach challenges in a methodical, disciplined way, right? We laid out the pros and cons, we gathered data, we created options and scenarios for consideration. Then came a prolonged decision-making process that involved all the appropriate stakeholders for input, and then more data and validation and detailed risk analysis to narrow down the best options, and then maybe a decision. Has that ever happened to you? My guess is that you're all too familiar with this approach. It seems like the analysis, the box checking, and deliberation goes on forever. So how do we move forward without making mistakes that could create negative consequences for the organization or for you? When you're faced with an unexpected situation, you can't afford to default to your natural reaction to pause, to feel stuck and unsure. And you can no longer make minimizing risk your primary focus when developing solutions. In a world that is shifting and changing, evaluating risk must take a backseat to in-the-moment decisions based on confidence. That's what we discussed last week. We've all been taught to minimize risk and avoid the potential consequence of making mistakes. But in this environment, risk-taking and making mistakes are more acceptable now. So consider a time when you were faced with an unexpected situation. How long did it take you to move from loss avoidance and minimizing risk to maximizing what is possible? Well, if your response was more that you were stuck on loss avoidance versus using your confidence and intuition and personal agency to move forward, then here's my tip. The next time you're faced with an unexpected situation, in order to move past this sense of loss and see where possibilities lie, draw on the confident, no-regret decision-making process we discussed last week in the first shift. And with that mindset in place, you can accept that mistakes are now part of the process of innovating and of trying new things. They are part of your evaluative and decision-making process. They have less impact now because you can change course quickly if needed, moving confidently beyond, beyond recognizing the loss to what is next, to what is possible. I want 2021 to be a year of momentum for you, one of possibility thinking that takes advantage of the agency we sometimes forget we have. So that's my tip for the week. I'll see you next week. Have a good one and take care of yourself.